For the past few videos, we've been talking about Mr. Fantastic and the characters of Marvel Rivals. But this game is more than just abilities, aim, and team compositions. It's also all about the map you play in. It fundamentally changes the range of encounters and influences the playstyles players might employ. Some maps favor flying characters, others divers or long-range snipers, while others can easily allow triple support, triple DPS, or even just the 2-2-2 composition. For example, when pushing a payload, it's very hard to do so without a tank or two. What does Mr. Fantastic do in cases like these? Where does he position himself? What maps are good and bad for our flexible hero? Hello everybody, welcome back. It is I, DJ Turtle Vortex. In this video, we'll go over all of the maps in Marvel Rivals and determine which ones are good or bad for Fantastic and which locations in each map Mr. Fantastic can take advantage of or should keep an eye out for. Before we begin though, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I am dedicated to extensively covering Mr. Fantastic and Ultron as well. Click the bell to get notified when I upload. Marvel Rivals has three distinct map types: Convoy, Convergence, and Domination. In Convoy Maps, the payload is front and center in the attacker side, and they simply have to push it through each checkpoint until the end. Convergence is similar to Convoy with one significant difference: attackers must capture a control point completely and then proceed to push the payload through each checkpoint until the end. Domination is a standard King of the Hill game mode. Whoever holds the point until 100 wins the round, first to 2 wins the game. We'll go ahead and start with Convoy Maps first and take a look at each one and see which ones Mr. Fantastic can excel at, which ones are challenging, and some super useful tips for his positioning. There are three Convoy maps currently in Marvel Rivals: Spider Islands, Yggdrasil Path, and Midtown. On attack, Spider Islands can initially be tricky to get past the first choke point under the bridge smoothly. It's got a long left side flank and a shorter right side flank you need to keep an eye on, especially if your strategists are getting dived on. If that isn't the case, rotating through the right side provides indoor cover and faster access to the enemy while still allowing you to back into your team as the payload moves forward. There's also a health pack nearby, and at worst, the spawn door. Try to capitalize on poor positioning, anyone playing a little too aggro, or generating as much attention as possible for your team to push through. For defense, I enjoy playing the front line and holding that choke as best as possible. Check out my playstyle guide for Mr. Fantastic as I perfectly showcase a defensive hold in that checkpoint. In the second half, you have a lot more range and space to occupy. This means you can employ any of the playstyles we explored, such as dive or frontline. While it is a plus to have much more space, it also opens up many different spots or angles the enemy team can try to eliminate you. Try and stick to cover, whether it's the rocks or walls that can't be broken down. If you are playing aggressive, keep in mind the pit to the left under the bridge. You'll encounter many opportunists who will try to kick or push you down there. In this part of the map, flyers and long-range heroes are fairly strong. The third checkpoint is the most vertical of the three. It's also fairly close quarters as the payload will take a significant amount of space. Try to position yourself with your tanks or protect your strategists from harm. Elongating to the enemy, especially with their spawn close, can cause monumental staggers for your team, and that's never a good thing. However, in this point, Brainiac Bounce excels at dealing damage and slowing the enemies down, since the ultimate's AoE is wide enough to proc further hits on everyone there. Lastly, the health packs are more on the defender's advantage in this point, so keep that in mind. Overall, Spider Islands is a good map for Mr. Fantastic. I'm just going to come out and say it right away, but the GOAT payload gives me conniptions. It is so awkward and terrible for Fantastic's inflated mode, cleaving attack, and ultimate bounces. It's hard to navigate around, and it's a longer payload than the Spider-Bot in Tokyo, larger than Ratatoskr, Bast, and the Fantastic Car, and more angular than the symbiote in Klyntar. I can genuinely rant about it all day, but I'll spare you all. On defense, The first checkpoint is best held when playing against a wall and using the payload as cover. That way you not only have immediate protection, but you can catch flankers that try to sneak in from behind the closest flank position. On attack, try to use the ledge as a sweeping platform to deal damage to everyone, or if the opportunity arises, try to elongate to enemies that are on the high ground alone. This is usually the position of most lone long-range heroes and an easy matchup win for Mr. Fantastic. The second point is super narrow and quite a difficult point for Mr. Fantastic, as the payload takes a large portion of the path and the map itself doesn't easily lend to Fantastic's abilities, either due to the railings as cover or the weird paths you have to take to get to high ground. Flanking on this point is fairly challenging, so a frontline playstyle is recommended. The last checkpoint echoes some of the difficulties Fantastic might face from the middle checkpoint as well. When the payload starts going downhill, there's barely any room for Fantastic to flex or get decent Brainiac bounces. Support and Vanguard ults will be super tight, which means the value for Fantastic will be diminished. Overall, Yggdrasil from my experience is a challenging map for Fantastic. Thumbs down. Midtown's first point is unique in that for defense and offense, you have easy and immediate access to high ground. Granted, you have to push the payload, but as Mr. Fantastic, you can easily jump from high ground to main ground easily without having to take any strange paths. This lends to creative actions and reactions that you can try. While the remainder of the first checkpoint is narrow, the bus and ambulance provide ample cover for Mr. Fantastic's swings, so try to take advantage of them. The middle checkpoint is tricky, and that's due to the map's reconstruction feature, in which the map changes but in reverse of destruction. It's better for the map when there's less debris, because it allows Fantastic sweeping access to the enemy and their backline if he decides to attack from the top of the middle building. Flyers will have tremendous issues facing against Fantastic in this map, as their range is severely hampered by the high ground Fantastic can reach. The same goes from when the payload goes underneath. On the left side, there's plenty of potential to find off angles to dive or counter dive. This goes both ways for offense and defense. On the final checkpoint, it's an open road. There's not a lot of cover, so Fantastic's inflated mode can get abused fairly easily if you're not careful. But at the same time, there's plenty of space to find flanking positions on the right side, regardless of the state of the map in terms of destruction. Conclusion, Midtown is a great map for Fantastic, if not for Herbie and the Baxter building alone. There are 4 Convergence Maps in Marvel Rivals: Shin-Shibuya, Hall of Djalia, Klyntar, and Central Park. The bridge is a huge choke point in this map, and if held with communication and teamwork, can be consistently possible. On defense, as Fantastic, your goal is to catch anyone flanking and to bottleneck them back into that bridge. That means holding the left and right side or supporting your tanks. If they play aggressive, give them shields. If they play passive, show some initiative to help them make space. On offense, get that left side open as quickly as possible. It can allow your team to filter into the point and find other paths to the objective easier without having to throw bodies right away. Convergence maps are some of the few maps where healers on defense can get their ultimate super quickly, so your offense has to be executed concisely. The first checkpoint is super open, as a lot of this map has destructibles in this checkpoint. Playing around the building on the side is great for Fantastic to use for high ground and cover. There's also 2 health packs for either side to take advantage of, one of them being in the downstairs portion of the building. Flyers and long range can be a bit lethal here, as they can sit pretty in the back, so be careful trying to engage with them alone. The final checkpoint has what can be considered a choke point, however it is destructible and susceptible to flanking, so try to be cognizant of the left and right paths underneath, as there is space to move around, but not enough to sweep across the enemy team freely. Shin-Shibuya is a great map for Fantastic. It's got access to health packs, low ceilings, and high ground on attack and defense. On defense, this map is super easy for Fantastic, but a bit of an uphill battle on attack. This map has a lot of paths for Fantastic to take, despite most teams choosing to go straight up the hill as it provides the most amount of space. But as Mr. Fantastic, you have a lot of opportunities to poke around and find an off angle, such as taking the right path and getting the high ground, or pushing from the right side as your team pushes the main road. By elongating to enemies or allies that have successfully displaced or are displaced from their team, you can get a great head start on attack to capture that first point. The only issue is that flyers are hard to reach, and if the enemy plays it right, anyone on high ground is hard to reach, as the garage in the back is amazing for rotating in and out of point, or at the very least removing line of sight. Also, hold on, can we just talk about the map triggers and events in Wakanda maps? Like, what kind of shit is this? Fire, fog, and flying gas? It's everywhere, and at times incredibly overwhelming. The fire damage alone is a turn-off in my opinion, and just doesn't help the match or dynamics of the game at all. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of the Wakanda events. The second point is super large. It can be both advantageous and disadvantageous, as the path to flank or find an off angle can be inconvenient at times, especially when you want to break the monotony of being stuck in a chokehold. Looping all the way around or going through that confined space inside the building is tricky at best and a cage at worst. The space you have is fantastic while the payload moves in this checkpoint shrinks as you get closer and closer to the objective. But it does open up to a much more manageable checkpoint at the end, which is wide open but allows for multiple paths on the side to find great angles to attack in. The fog can be annoying as you can't elongate to anyone within it, but it can also be a double-edged sword that you can use as an advantage. Just imagine an inflated Fantastic just punching through the fog. In conclusion, Hall of Djalia in my opinion is a challenging and not very good map for Mr. Fantastic. It's got great spots for poke and flying heroes to set up, and can be challenging to find or make space to push forward. Klyntar is probably one of the most challenging maps for Fantastic in my experience. It's tiny, congested, and has those stupid frickin' slammy walls that block you from doing whatever you need to do. Attacking on this map is most fruitful when you try to find off angles. Genuinely, don't ever waste your time playing in the middle as Fantastic. You'll just be wasting it. The same goes for defense. If you stand at the ramp, you'll blow up and die before you know it. Your best bet is to play counter dive and protect your strategists from flankers, or provide constant shields to your tanks and mitigate their damage while preventing anyone from getting past them by slowing them down. The second checkpoint is slightly easier on defense than it is on attack, but nonetheless, there's not a lot of room to sweep your arms, and the less room you have, the more the heals are concentrated on your targets, which means they'll be harder to kill. The best advantage you have in this map is against flying characters, as they're forced to play either super far away from you or get punished by you. Both options diminish their effects on the match. The third point does open up a bit more, as you have the entire left side to use as cover and the weird ribcage tunnel. But it's very awkward to maneuver around and get solid points, since the terrain and walls can be destroyed or circumvented by going around. In this checkpoint, damage from the enemy team can be concentrated much easier, thus making it difficult to maintain your inflated state, which in turn hampers your damage. Stick to walls, stick to your healers, and punish anyone who tries to get an off angle or flank past your tanks. Yeah, Klyntar is a bad map in general, but especially bad in my opinion for Fantastic. Can you get value? Absolutely. It's not like the map is an instant loss once you pick Fantastic. You can make it work for sure, you'll just have to make it work a bit harder than the others, I'm afraid. For Fantastic, this map certainly favors him on defense than it does on attack. On defense, for all checkpoints, you have much more space initially, as well as great walls for cover, before and after the map does its usual shenanigans. On attack, the first checkpoint is a damage funnel and a choke point. the best thing to do is make sure your strategist can get to where they need to unscathed, as the terrain certainly favors divers and flankers such as Iron Fist, Spider-Man, and Hulk, to name a few. You can easily find yourself getting stuck right at that choke point, especially when it's challenging to pull someone away from their poor positioning with distended grip, as they can find a new position for cover right away. On defense, there's a lot of open ground to control and use to sweep at the enemy team. Just be aware of their momentum and try to time your peeling just before you're about to explode from damage. As always, support ults and, depending on the DPS heroes, duelists can kick in quick. Moving past that, the next checkpoint really opens up for flying and flanking heroes. So take special care to put pressure on tanks or ensure that your strategist can help heal your team throughout this checkpoint, whether it's on the low ground or high ground. Being aggressive on this point isn't a completely good idea due to how far away the spawn point is. In fact, if Fantastic spawns alone, it's honestly the most agonizing walk of shame ever. So play this checkpoint safe, push as a team, and use the walls for cover. The third checkpoint is the most manageable for Fantastic, as it has 2 choke points for some impenetrable defense, and those 2 choke points are easily flankable for off angles on attack. Take care not to get kicked down those stairs, and be aware of when the map begins to reshape itself, as it can seriously get in the way of things. Take advantage of the high ground and the close by health packs in this checkpoint, as leaving both spawn rooms is quite frankly tedious. Central Park is a certified difficult and bad map for Fantastic in my opinion, but don't let that stop you from picking him and getting the MVP. With 4 domination maps, Royal Palace, Birnin, Djalia, Hell's Heaven, and Krakoa, each map also has 3 locations. We'll deep dive the more notable and useful positioning tips for Fantastic in each one. Bifrost Gardens is awesome for Fantastic. It's got ample space, great off angles, and the perfect playground for brainiac bounces. Some flyers might pose a challenge, but there's also enough cover that they don't become too much of an issue. This map is even better for Fantastic to counter dive, as they won't have many corners to rotate away from, and you can elongate towards them or pull them back with distended grip. Your sweeping attack is genuinely long enough to cover the whole objective, so staying in between the 2 covers can allow some serious DPS and crowd control. Throne Room adds some verticality but still keeps a lot of open space for Fantastic. There's plenty of locations to get off angles, whether you rotate from up top or choose any of the side doors from behind. If you're on the offensive and have pushed the enemy team back, you can hold the stairs practically alone, provided you do get healed. Not to mention, Brainiac Bounce is a great traversal tool as well. It can be used to go from the high ground all the way to the point and back up. Stick with your team and balance elongating towards your enemies and strategists or tanks depending on the enemy matchup. Odin's Archive might be a bad map for everyone else, but it's fantastic for Mr. Fantastic. Forget the jump pads, you can elongate to anyone from any range, pull them back down with distended grip, and with the roof over the objective, create some awesome Brainiac bounces. This map out of the 3 is a momentum map, and Mr. Fantastic is amazing when he has momentum to keep pushing forward. In conclusion, Royal Palace is a great map for Fantastic. You can punish genuinely everyone easily. There's a certain trend you'll notice with all domination maps, and that is their propensity to facilitate brawl matchups. Now, it may just be the Season 2 meta, but I still think in Season 2.5 and on, brawl heroes will still be great choices for domination maps, especially Mr. Fantastic. In Stellar Spaceport, there's a lot of open ground, but everywhere else has high ground sightlines. As Mr. Fantastic, you have to make the choice of choosing which one to dominate, and that largely depends on how your team engages and what the enemy team is comprised of. Mr. Fantastic is great at fighting 2v1s, so long as he gets even a leaf or orb of healing from his strategist. I usually try to isolate anyone alone or poorly positioned and attack them as soon as I can. Either I eliminate them or the whole team peels back to them, which opens up more space for my team. Try to run with your tanks or strategists in spaceport, as you can be picked off in times like these. If you're gonna be alone, make sure that the distance between your team and you is fairly close so that you can either elongate back to them or at least so they don't have to break their back trying to get to you. Warrior Falls is a tricky one, especially once the map breaks. That stupid triangle in the middle makes things terrible for Fantastic, even if admittedly you can use it as cover. When the map breaks, all sightlines in the middle are gone, and you're left chasing or running to the enemy to kill them. That's not good. So try to push with your attacks, focus the enemy strategists, and save your Brainiac bounces for after the support outs come out, or when the strange portals do. But if they have a Scarlet Witch, try to wait and see if they do that stupid portal trick where you can't hear any indication the ultimate is going off, so you can protect yourself at the very least with reflexive rubber. I can't tell you how many overtime pushes I lost with that stupid tech. Also, since I'm ranting, stay away from Emma Frost's face. That character, for whatever reason, goes diamond and grabs me when I play Fantastic every time without fail. It's not even my poor positioning at times, it's like they become rabid dogs that are just slobbering and frothing at the mouth to grab me. I literally hear the diamond sound effect anytime I'm engaging forward and save rubber just so I won't get grabbed. You know what? Can we just talk about why the hell you can get damaged when she grabs you, but other characters can't do that when they grab you, like Hulk? And why are you grabbed for so long? No, like I'm serious. Can we be real here? I swear to... The Imperial Institute of Science location doesn't need too much discussion. It's fairly straightforward. The main caveat is to make sure you don't overextend or fall into that pit in the middle unless it's to secure a kill. Technically, you can elongate back up, but you need to either communicate that or get lucky somebody is close by. Most teams don't ever actually rotate out of the side portions of the map as a team. Seriously, look back at your matches and you'll see them stick to those narrow passages where the tubes and open window is with jump pads. There's so much space to take advantage of in this map, and it's rare to see teams exploit them, which is good for Fantastic. Your Brainiac bounces love tight spaces, and holding them into those spaces is great for your value with that ultimate. Overall, Birnin T'Challa is a fantastic map for Mr. Fantastic. Thumbs up. What sets this map apart from the other Domination ones is that it's shifting periodically. Just wanted to point that out, really. Oh, actually, there's only one map you can take advantage of that with, and that's Eldritch Monument. If your team is the one that lifts the platforms up once you capture the objective, that map becomes much easier to maneuver with as Mr. Fantastic. I tend to start my rounds on the inside of the part of Eldritch Monument until I get a good angle on how the enemy team plays. If they have flyers, obviously I have no need for the indoors, but if they play brawl or divers, it's great. It's even better when you get easy access to their strategists and they don't peel for them. Just keep that in mind and look out for those sorts of things as you move forward on that location. Just remember, Mr. Fantastic is a duelist, and as a duelist, if you want to win a match faster, you usually take care of the strategists first. In Super Soldier Factory, okay, one thing, I just have to say it right away. If you're going up against Emma Frost or Spider-Man, stay away from the ledge. They will throw you out if you give them the chance every time. Beyond that, the indoors are great for Brainiac bounces, and I tend to stick to the blue walls where the moving slabs are coming out of. You get great access to high ground, flanking positions, and off angles to push against strategists too far behind their team, or duelists trying to get comfy at the railings up top. Wait. Hold on 1 second here. This DJ from the editing timeline. Did y'all just see the way I countered that Black Widow? Hold on, rewind that and give me another angle, because that shit was saucy. If you want to learn how to do that and be equipped with any random situations that happen to you against any duelist, tank, or support in the game, watch my how to counter series. I go over every single person, all the minutia, all the details. Back to the video. Frozen Airfield is also one of those maps where it's important for Fantastic to control off angles or seriously stay behind and protect those strategists. Confrontations on this map are super close quarters and intimate. Since the range is so short, Fantastic can punish everyone in the game, whether they're high ground or on the objective. It's important to be able to distinguish who you can separate from their team or capitalize on the distance from everyone else and pounce on them. Just like with Warrior Falls and Birnin T'Challa, there's that middle part of the map where it's a little bit finicky, and you know the left side with the 2 doors is also somewhere you want to keep an eye on, where duelists kind of tend to flank in. So, but on the right side is also very large. There's a health pack, lots of players jump towards it, so you have a lot to balance, you have a lot of space to swing, just keep that in mind. Hell's Heaven, like all of the Domination maps, is great for Fantastic. Thumbs up. Krakoa is the latest map to join the game, barring Arako in the coming days. It's still very new, and we've only had it for a few weeks. Nonetheless, Cradle is the worst of the 3. Just had to rip the band-aid off and say it right there. There's portals in random areas, there's pits behind the point, it's not good for flyers, there's no decent long-range options, and there's just tight stairways everywhere. Allow me this one take, but I think it's worse than Odin's Archive. Anyways, as Fantastic, take care to not get singled out quickly. Supports can easily rotate to their team, and tanks can close the gap efficiently. Duelists might be challenging to fight as everyone is clustered, and normally that's a good thing for Fantastic, but in this map, there's no room to stretch. Even on the point itself, there's that big Cerebro stock right in the middle, which the enemy can just spin around and avoid your punches. This map is still relatively new, so I think there's room to improve and gain more insight in the future. For now, I recommend playing passive and punishing outliers or anyone trying to assassinate supports. Carousel, on the other hand, is a great map for Fantastic. It can be tricky at first to find a good tempo, but once you do, playing aggressive in this map actually rewards you more, as it is easier to flank in many off angles and elongate towards any duelist or strategists that play alone. I feel like I should add that when I make my guides, I do try to make them as objective as I can, but I'm always injecting my ideas and habits as well, whether consciously or subconsciously. So when I play Fantastic, I like to isolate heroes that are alone, because in a 1v1, Fantastic can easily win. And if the fight is slowly becoming a 2v1, the chances of winning are still there, but you also have the survivability to escape or push through. In Domination Maps, it's hard to tell you to pick a spot for positioning and hold it. You're not a Hela or a Black Widow who needs sightlines. You're a brawler and melee hero. This means you're constantly moving forward towards the enemy, objective, or ally. I realize this as we are only one map left, but positioning is Fantastic, it's dynamic and demanding of what the team or game requires. One moment you could be helping the backline, and the next you could be in the enemy's backline. It's all opportunity, and you need the game sense and mechanical skill to detect and capitalize on it. With that said, play on the stairs and near health packs. This map is small but spacious, which means the long-range heroes or snipers can comfortably shoot at you without having to be accessible to you unless you go far out of your way. You know where those 2 portals lead you to up in the area that's so far removed from the map and they can just look at the point? That's what I'm talking about. Grove is the best fit for Fantastic as it has an open space in the objective to brawl and straightforward access to either backline if needed, whether to peel or flank. It's also a flat surface for Brainiac bounces, so it'll be simple to get all 6 bounces on demand. Try to engage from the waterfall side as often as you can, as it provides cover, a portal, and health packs while still being super close to the objective or any side of the map you choose. We've taken a good look at every map so far in Marvel Rivals for Mr. Fantastic. Not only that, but we've discussed his hero matchups and counter ability against all of them, as well as the unique playstyles he can have. I hope these guys have been able to help you, as they've been a great exercise for me to become a better Fantastic player. I'd like to open the chance for you, the viewer, yes you, I know I'm on your second monitor right now. If you've got some matches that you've struggled to play Fantastic in, or feel like you're having issues trying to improve, then drop a replay code of your wins, losses, or interesting matches as Mr. Fantastic, and we can go through them together. I'll be live streaming it every Sunday starting June 1st on YouTube and on Twitch, so check the description down below for more details. Beyond that, did I miss anything crucial, or is there something you'd like to add? Let me know in the comments. If you take the time to write one, I always take notice and reply if I can. In fact, this very video was brought up as an idea from a subscriber. With that said, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's a joy to make these videos, and I hope that I can pass that along to you as well. I'll see you all in the next video.